Good evening everybody, welcome to the Parish Council meeting for the 15th of December, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing, for the 26th of January, at least I caught it before I read the whole thing out, for the 26th of January 2016.
Tweeting that.
Please do, yes, that would be very kind of you. The fire exits are over that side and also where you came in under the stairs. We've got a lot to get through, so if we could keep some structure to the meeting, that would be great. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Yeah, I've had apologies from Peter and apologies from Ian, and Kevin is going to be late.
Okay. Have we got reasons?
Peter's got a previous engagement, Ian is at a meeting at Daventry, and Kevin is also at a meeting at Daventry, but will be coming along later.
Okay, does anybody have any comments on those apologies? Are we happy to accept those apologies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Item 3 is the declaration of interest. Do any members have any interest on any of the items on the agenda this evening? No?
Apologies, sorry.
Have you had a chance to look at this evening's agenda, Sandra?
Yes.
Do you have any declaration of interest or anything like that?
No.
Since you are just in time for that bit. Okay, so none for that. Item 4 is to sign the minutes of previous meetings, which is, this one is the 15th of December. Does anybody have any comments on those minutes? Are we all happy to accept those minutes then?
I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a proposal?
That's a proposed to accept.
Excellent. A second, Jackie, thank you very much. All those in favour then of signing the minutes as a true record? That's everybody except David.
Well, no.
And so you're abstaining then?
I'm abstaining.
David's abstaining. Okay, thank you.
I don't know what day.
Item 5 is the public open forum. This is an opportunity for members of the public to have their say or ask the Parish Council questions. Obviously, if you do wish to speak on an agenda item, I'm quite happy to hear your comments then if you would rather. So are there any members of the public who would like to speak at this point? Mike, yes?
Just thought I'd update you on the Heritage Trail plans. I think I ought to, in some way, formally ask you as a Parish Council whether you would permit something like that at the Pound. So if I pass that round, that's a picture of Lebanon's village trail sign. I think that the obvious place is the Pound, but you might have different views on that, which I'd like to hear. But I'm obviously I have sought permission from Daventry. I've emailed them with the dimensions, mentioned it's at other villages and who the makers are, things like that. And I've also asked them about the plaques, bearing in mind it's a sensitive area. Some of these buildings are grade 2, the church, for example, is grade 1. So I'm in touch with Daventry, but obviously if I was to advance plans for something like that on the Pound, you own that. And it would be stupid for me to go further down the path if you're saying you're not going to put that thing on the Pound. So I'm saying...
This is the green area opposite the Coach and Horses,
Yes,
is that
that's right, yeah.
Okay.
Which you own. So it would be sensible of me to sound you out, and that's what I'm doing at this stage, to sound you out as to whether you think it's a reasonable idea, and then I will conform to what Daventry has to do. If they say we'll need full planning application, your approval, you'll see it anyway, because I'll have to do that. But it would be daft for me to go down that path without you knowing what I was thinking of. But that's Lebanon's. Obviously, you're not approving what's on this, because that has to be decided depending on how many houses and sites volunteer to have plaques. I've got pictures of the plaques if you want to see them. And in fact, I've got the first resident who lives down Silver Street has okayed earlier today the wording for their plaque. So what I'm going to do is to get their plaque made, and then subsequent sites, I'll take their plaque to show other people. So I'll say it would look just like this, and they'll have a good idea, because these plaques are acrylic and they're blue, just like these ones. And they're quite striking. But I'm seeking your approval that I go ahead with a scheme that incorporates a sign like that on the pound at this stage.
And who's financing?
We already have £1,100 pledged from residents, but I'm obviously seeking funding. And one of the things is, if you're putting up something, have you permission from the people? So I'm saying, do I have your permission to go ahead?
Okay, well, I don't think we can give permission without it being
Well, you'd have
a
to put it
proper
to planning
agenda item.
committee or whatever.
But does anybody have any comments? Does anybody have anything they'd like to say about the position of the sign? Or?
I would have no objection. I think that's
Okay.
I think if that's what we're looking at, which is in keeping, except the church one is wooden, isn't it? Do you think that will sit well with the wooden one?
Depends how close it is.
Mm.
That will last infinitely longer than
Yeah.
the church wooden
Yeah.
one, which had to be replaced, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's
as long as it sits.
that one you can see
nicely.
there is 8 years old. You
Yeah.
wouldn't know it. London's Trail's 8 years old, and that's why I'm copying what they've done.
Yeah.
That the manufacturers of that, who come from Shrewsbury, are the ones that, have you ever into the Naseby battlefield site? They have done the signposting there, and that's actually commended by English Heritage. The signposting has been good quality.
Okay. I don't think. I think you can take away that there were no objections voiced.
Okay. So I'll apply. I'll do what Daventry tells me to do. If I have to apply for planning permission, then I will, and obviously it will come to you anyway. If I don't, then when we have the words and everything to go on it, I'll come and show you a mock-up of the whole thing. If that's, I'll do an actual order. Is that all right?
Yeah, there we go.
It's a heritage trail.
So
It follows the current heritage because
it
there
is
are
based
groups,
on
there are
the.
groups that go around, aren't
Yeah,
there?
it is based on. I've got it here. Well, it's on sale here. The History Society
Yeah.
one. That one. It's based on that, but of course there's 38. So there, and my Heritage Trail wouldn't be 38. The whole idea is you can walk around it in between 2 and 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon. You couldn't do that one on a Sunday afternoon. It goes out far bigger and further than I envisage our Heritage Trail. Anyway, it's up to the people that own the houses to say I want to be
Have you
included or not.
contacted the owners of every house that's on the current trail? Then?
No, because I want to be able to take them.
An
The
example.
first one.
Okay.
Most people only know about it through the item in the bulletin. When I've drafted a letter, and the letter will go to people who are in the History Society trial, saying that they are eligible. Would they like me to come and show you a plaque? Now, I reckon in about 10 days' time the first plaque will be ready. I'll go over to Leicester, pick it up, and it's much better that I show them a plaque from the house in Silver Street. It's the old. No, I've got it for which one it is. I've got now. Anyway, it's the one that's a former pub halfway
Yeah.
down up Silver Street, and they'll be to see it and they'll say, "Would you like a plaque like this?" rather than be showing a picture of one.
Yeah.
So that's the order of events.
So you're going to wait for feedback on that plaque, are you?
I will give everybody a letter. They will say, "Yes, come and talk to me about it." I'll show you the letter if you like. I've got one, and I will go and visit the person, and then they'll have to have signed for permission to take a plaque. They'll sign that they agree the wording of the plaque, and they'll sign that the location of the plaque. Then the plaque will be put up when they are in residence, so that they know exactly. What we don't want is someone to put 2 holes in the wall and put it up there, and then 10 minutes later and say, "I didn't want it there." Yeah. So that it will be put up when they are there, and they'll have permission. The plaques will be the property of the heritage group. That has to be done because of the grant.
Okay. Does anybody else have any comments or questions for Mike?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you, Mike.
Can I make a picture, mate? Or did you
I gave it
You gave it to me.
Are there any other members of the public who'd like to speak at this point?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
you've got item 10C is the 25-year lease of Brixworth Parish. I've been doing some investigating on that myself, and it looks like the best route to go down would be if the parish council applied for anything in the name of sports for Brixworth, rather than grinding as a lease. You kind of apply on behalf of sports groups in Brixworth to gain a 20. Say, because I think apparently according to funding groups like Football Foundation and the FA, all the parish council has to do is say this site will not be sold for 25 years and it will be used for sport for 25 years. That way you avoid any issuing of leases to local clubs.
So you think that would be better going forward than having the item as it stands?
Exactly, and the funding groups look, I suppose, see the parish council as being more solid than a local community club.
Right.
The parish council should obviously be better funded than a local club, so they'll be around for the 25 years. So they'd rather the parish council apply for stuff in the name of local sports clubs. If that makes sense. I'm still doing investigating work on it at the moment, but that seems to be a thing where I sort of kind of don't need to worry about that agenda item. I think it might be easiest to get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will you be liaising with Emma in the future then
Yeah,
about what
I will do. Yeah.
you'd like us to apply for?
Just saves a bit of time.
Okay. Are there any other comments? For the,
Can I just ask about 10A, to discuss the possibility of allowing Brixworth Junior FC to use Spartan Road recreation as a football ground?
well,
I wasn't here at the last meeting, so
you
I know
could-
nothing about any of this.
did you want to wait until it comes up and then we'll...
Yeah, you crack on, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Fair enough. Right, are there any other comments from the public? Okay, then we'll move on to item 6, which is to receive the police representative report, which was circulated a few days ago along with the email from PCSO Right. Does anybody have any comments they would like to make on the police report? Are we happy to accept that then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item 7 is planning. The first item is to receive the minutes from the planning meeting held on the 16th of November. Does anybody have any comments on those? Obviously, we've all seen them when they were circulated and been approved by planning, so we're happy to receive those. Yep. Okay. And to receive the planning approvals and refusals for December, which was circulated with the agenda. Is everybody happy with those? Thank you. Item C is to accept the invitation to attend Part 2 local plan briefing sessions from Daventry District Council Planning Policy Officer, which was emailed out, and a copy is also in the Dropbox. Is that... Are we accepting? We're not accepting that as a group, are we? That's just for individuals.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to go, they can say.
Okay, so we're just receiving that at the moment.
Yeah.
Then.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Okay.
just let me know.
Does anybody have any comments they would like to make before we move on? Happy with that one. Okay. Item D then, the planning application, which is DA 2015-1099. This is the amended plan for the construction of 2 detached garages in Brixworth Park. Did you want to speak about that, Steve?
Well, yes. I mean, obviously, following our comments at the planning meeting, the applicant has pretty much taken all our comments on board and has altered the layouts accordingly. And to be quite honest, I would propose that we offer no objection to it now.
Fair enough. Thank
I
you.
would second that.
You're seconding that, Mike?
And the neighbours all right with it?
The neighbours were fine. There was a
concern
bit of banter,
about
somebody on the opposite
glass.
side of the lake.
I think they were concerned that mainly that they hadn't been notified. But the glass has been changed, hasn't it, now? So
Yeah.
it's not so reflective
That's right.
as
I
well.
see, that was the other thing I was concerned about. They're quite large buildings, but they're below the tree line, as
Absolutely.
far
I
as I
mean,
can see.
yeah, there was one of the neighbours on the opposite side of the lake hadn't been notified, but that was obviously a Daventry problem,
Yeah.
not ourselves. My concern on the first one was that the application form was slightly misleading.
Yeah.
But that's all been addressed. So
They seem to be nice buildings.
Okay. Are there any other comments on this then? Then all those in favour of the motion that we offer no objection? That's everybody then. Thank you very much. Don't jinx it. Item 8 A is the bank reconciliation. Does anybody have any comments? Or
Yeah, I
happy?
have.
Have you gone then?
Yeah, it's there should be on the final figures at the end. It should include the interest of £3.93 to give the total of £121,757.32. It wasn't actually included in the figure.
So which
Add £3.93
onto the
that.
capital reserve
Yeah.
figure? Okay. Does anybody else have any comments they'd like to make? Okay, so we're happy to accept the reconciliation. Yep, thank you. And item B is the state of the reserves. Does anybody have any comments on the reserves as they're detailed there? No, are we happy to accept those figures then?
Yes.
Yep, everybody? Item C is to approve the bills for payment, which is on the sheet in front of you and was also circulated earlier on today. Does anybody have any comments on any of those bills?
I propose to pay our bill.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Is there a second to the proposal? Stephen, thank you very much. All those in favour then of paying the bills? That's everybody. Item D is to receive the clerk's report. I don't think there was anything particularly contentious in that one. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make on the clerk's report? No, we're happy to receive that then.
Yeah.
Okay. Since Kevin's going to be late, I'm going to come back to items E and F when he gets here. So we'll skip to item 8G, which is to approve the request from Brixworth First Responders to reallocate funds from the grant they received from the Parish Council to spend on other items of equipment. And we have a member of the First Responders here, incognito. Sandra?
Sorry, I knew that first response was going to be here, and as I do know the volunteers, some of the volunteers, is that something I should declare an interest on?
I personally wouldn't, but it's up to you. I mean, I think everybody knows somebody on the first responders or knows somebody who knows. It's the nature of things in a village. It's you don't have an interest and you're expected to, have an open mind. So it's up to you. It's your call.
If I declare an interest, why do I need to remain silent?
It's
Yes.
Is that something you'd like to do then? Is that no?
Declare an interest.
Okay, Mark, did you want to speak about this?
Well, yes, really just firstly to say thank you very much to the Parish Council for the tremendous grant of £1,000. It's absolutely excellent. Just for those of you who don't know, just a brief outline. Brixworth CFR Community First Responders work under the overview of the East Midlands Ambulance Service. We're trained by the East Midlands Ambulance Service. It's a recognised qualification that we all have, but working with the with EMAS, that means that we also, in addition to basic first aid and life-saving techniques in terms of mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, heart massage, etc., we also train in oxygen therapy, the use of defibrillators to restart hearts or shock hearts back into proper rhythms, etc. What happens when somebody within the village calls 999 to a medical emergency, and we're looking at things like difficulty in breathing, possible strokes, possible heart attacks, that type of thing. If one of us is on duty, what will happen is the ambulance control will call one of us, and we will get to, hopefully, should get to the incident in 3 minutes to immediately start care of the patient. If we need to start oxygen therapy or indeed defibrillation, we can start that. The response time for an ambulance or a single crew paramedic car is 8 minutes. That's their target for a red call. So, as I say, what generally happens is we get there first, and by the time we've just got the kit unpacked, the paramedic comes piling through the door. So that's basically what we do. Obviously, we spend the majority of our time working in and around Brixworth, but we do go out to sort of Kingsthorpe, Obelisk Rise, Scaldwell, places like that. We've had 4 call-outs in the last week to causes diverse as difficulty in breathing, suspected stroke, and a collapse. Don't have a lot more information on that other than what's been posted. There are different levels of training depending on, you can have your basic, intermediate and advanced. What we're trying to do is to get more people through the advanced course, which then means that they can actually deal with children down to 48 hours old, insert airways, give glucose in case of hypoglycemic reactions. But obviously we have to put these packs together. I've got one of them here. That's your defibrillator. That's about £1,000, but we're very, very fortunate in the fact that the British Heart Foundation is providing us with one at literally half price. It's only £492, something like that. So what we'd like to do is to use the balance of the money to put together these. You can see, which literally has, as I say, it's got airways in it, it's got oxygen monitors, it's got oxygen tanks, airways, all mask valves, things like that. So generally, if we have more of these sets, more people will be trained to a higher standard, and we can react better to the community. So, if we can divert that money, that would be absolutely super. So, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jackie.
I ask a question. How much does one of those packs cost?
In total, I believe you're looking at around about £750 by the time you've started putting everything together. I mean, for instance, the pads that you use on the defibrillator, every time they're single use, every time you use it, they have to be replaced, and they're £75 each. So, the ongoing running costs of doing it are quite considerable.
Shocking. Carry on.
Yeah, so it's the same. They're quite expensive bits of kit to put together and maintain.
Okay. Does anybody else have any comments? Sandra?
I think we have to look at our policy, don't we, which says that any unused money or monies that haven't been spent on what it was granted for has to be returned to the parish council. But that doesn't stop first responders making another application. Is it?
I'm going to check that, because I believe the parish council can agree for a redistribution of the funds after after it's been granted. I'm just going to check that. Talk amongst yourselves. No, I'm not. No internet connection. Have you got the?
I've got it with me, guys.
Okay.
You've got absolutely no internet. See if I can pull it up.
I've got it. Who's that?
It's the Wi-Fi down or
What's
something, because I can't get anywhere. It's the Wi-Fi down in the library.
The Wi-Fi is switched off. We can all do it. I believe we can.
Congregate outside here to use the Wi-Fi.
Go onto your phone, dead easy.
It's disgraceful.
Sorry about that. I've put a cork in his bottle. Do I want to leave it on so I can... 0843 as well. Not somebody 1 second.
Okay, so in our grants policy it says grants can only be used for the purpose for which they were awarded. Any change to the original project must be agreed with the council, which is what I understand this meeting is for.
Mhm.
So I don't think we need to demand a refund and then
No,
a
re-application.
new application. No, we can say if we choose to, that we're happy for the money to be reallocated into creating some more of these expensive packs. So does anybody else have any comments on
Well, I
this?
think based on that, I think it was very good then that the first responders did come back and say, actually, we've managed to get one for half price and we've now got this surplus money, so I think we need to give
They're
them
obviously
credit.
more familiar with the grants policy than we are.
I mean, if that's what policy says, I haven't got a problem with using that in excess of £500 for a pack if it's going to be for the use of the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your
Is that a
proposal?
proposal?
Yeah,
I'll second that.
Jackie seconding.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All those in favour of the motion then? That's everybody. Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I hope we don't concord.
Item H is to confirm that the council will remain opted into the sector-led body arrangements for procurement of external audit. This was the email that came around from Danny Moody, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I see lots of advantages to remaining opting in and lots of disadvantages to
Yeah.
opting out. Does anybody else have any comments on that?
I think I agree with you actually.
It's going to be more expensive if we opt out, isn't it?
It is going to be right.
And a lot more work
Yeah.
for the clerk.
Yeah.
Lots more hoops to jump through.
Yes. So, okay, do we want a proposal for that one? Or,
I think, isn't it just what's
to confirm?
Yeah.
We're all happy to confirm that then?
confirm that
Yeah.
we continue?
Okay, fair enough, thank you. Item I is to agree to ask the Friends of Brixworth Church for evidence of expenditure of the grant awarded to them under Minute 13/2078, which
Is that the calendar?
no, this is a few years ago.
13.
Oh,
The-
yeah, sorry.
The Friends of Brixworth Church applied for a grant to procure a professional audio recording.
Oh, yes.
I wasn't there. I've been told about it recently,
Mhm.
and it's been suggested that as there's no evidence in the church of an audio recording, that under the terms of the grant policy, which was in effect at the time, we should ask the Friends of Brixworth Church for evidence of correct expenditure of the grant money. Does anybody have any comments on that?
Makes sense.
It does, I think so, yeah. We need to perform our due diligence on this, I suspect. Okay, did you want to propose on that one then, or was everybody happy with everybody's agreement?
If you're not going to do a vote, then
Well, okay, I'll propose that we ask the Friends of Brixworth Church for evidence of the expenditure of the grant money then.
it's better to do
I'll
it this way.
second that.
Thank you, Mike. All those in favour of the motion? Yep, that's everybody.
So what was the grant, sorry, to clarify, was it for audio recording equipment or
No,
for an actual
To
audio
have
record?
to have a recording.
Of what?
You know when visitors and they have their little headphones,
Ah.
it was an audio trail of
It's kind of
the
like an audio
church.
tour type.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they had £500 and they said it could cost as much as £1,500 and they wanted £500. It was very specific, it was for that tool. So they can't say, for example, well, we've bought some microphones and we do our church services with it.
No, I
Right.
suppose
I
not.
don't know what you're going to say,
Think so.
but you
No.
have to tell us.
Okay, so you will write to the Friends then and ask them?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Item J is to approve the urban highway grass cutting in Brixworth will be carried out by the Parish Council for 2016. This is a continuation of
Yeah,
our agreement
I mean,
with
I
the
know-
highways.
We did it last year, but I just thought perhaps we should. I mean, you could say like now we would like to continue doing it until you decide not to, instead of me each year having to come along, or we can just do it annually.
Well, I think it's worth reminding people that this is something that we've taken on from Northampton County Council. But I suspect that we should really be approving it before the budget's finalised. So perhaps in December next time.
Well,
I suppose technically it will be.
it will be. It is.
Only because Kevin's
Yeah,
late.
but yeah. Okay. Right. Does anybody have any comments on the grass cutting then?
No, I think we've had positive feedback from
I think
residents.
so.
haven't
We have, yeah.
Very.
It's
Do you know
yes.
how many times the verges have been cut since we've brought it in-house? It was down to 3 with county, wasn't it? Or
Well, it's literally about every fortnight, every 3 weeks.
It'd be interesting
And
to
it
work out
started in
how many
March.
though.
And carried on to December this year.
yeah. It would be, as I said, it would be interesting. I think people like to know that it used to be 3 times and now it's been cut 12 times.
30 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is there any chance that we can actually
Oh,
find
yeah,
out,
Mark's
and
on
then we can actually put it on our Twitter
Yeah.
and our web page that this is what we've done.
Be
Okay.
careful with the daffodils this time. We've had daffodils flowering in December.
Mm.
Circumstances beyond my control, I'm afraid.
Oh, come on.
So I'm fed up with your buck passing. Right. Okay. So everybody's happy to approve that we continue
Yeah.
mowing the verges. Thank you very much. Item 9A is to receive an update on the trees in the knoll and approve sending the resident a letter of approval for the trees in the knoll to be removed. This is following the clerk's report. Was it clerk's report in December?
Yeah, it's been sort of ongoing. A resident that lives in the knoll has got 2 trees on a piece of land next to her. It took a while to find out who was responsible, but it's actually the Bromford Housing Association. And she's spoken to them and they've said they can be removed. And she just needs a letter of support from the parish council for them to be removed before she can do anything.
Sorry, what problem?
They're just dropping branches and stuff all on
Would
her
it not
car.
be a letter of no objection rather than support?
Well, no, they're not our trees. They're Bromford Housing Association said yes, you could get rid of them, but it's going to be have to be at her expense.
So we have no
They're her
objection to
trees.
them doing so.
But she just needs to have some sort of letter of support. This is what she's told me from us.
Are the trees not healthy? Is that what's caused the problems?
They look healthy to me, but I mean they're not trees that.
Obviously, they
are
weren't
ours.
inspected for ours
No,
because
because they're not
ours.
ours. No,
Right, okay.
they're Bromford Housing Association, and
What sort
they
of trees are they?
look like that.
Right.
I might be
Great
able to
trees,
recognise them.
yeah, excellent. Yeah. I mean,
I mean that's probably old actually. They are bigger and.
They're birch trees. One of them is.
I mean I don't know. It seems to have been sorted out between Bromford Housing Association and the resident.
Put them in the quick.
And I'm not sure why Bromford Housing Association aren't writing the letter of support for the trees to be removed rather than we are to do it.
well, I don't think we have enough information to support the removal of trees that may be perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, it may be a bit of a nuisance that they're dropping branches on. I mean, I presume that's the resident doesn't
No.
own that land either.
No,
So they're dropping branches on.
she owns that bit where her
their
car
land.
goes and it's dropping stuff on her car.
Well, she's living in the country. I mean,
Yeah, no, but I mean what I say is the Bromford Housing Association trees, they're happy for her to remove them, but whoever she has removed them wants a letter from the parish council, but I don't see why we have to give a letter. Why it's not Bromford Housing Association giving the letter.
Well, and also, any tree decisions that we have made have always gone via Mike Venton anyway, haven't they?
Well, no, not if they're privately owned trees.
No, but I just, they're privately owned. I think Alice has got a point. You park your car near a tree, you're going to get a leaf on it, aren't you? Yeah, I would not want to be felling healthy trees myself.
no. Mike?
I just don't think it's for us to approve.
No, that's
At
not.
all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I certainly think it should be put by a lightweight. And I mean, all trees are privately owned. If they're most of them are, aren't they?
I don't necessarily think it's Mark Benton. I think necessarily needs to go back to the people that own the trees and say
Okay.
it's an issue that you've got to deal with.
Because there's no TPL on the trees or anything
No,
like that. It's just they're just
Yeah, and
random
it's something that
insignificant trees.
it's if anybody's going to write a letter of support, it should be there. But I said I'd bring it here, but that's as far as that's where I.
Okay.
You've given them the answer.
Does anybody else want to make any comments on that? Stephen, Jackie, no. Okay, so I think
I've got to take it back to.
we're not
We're not
going to
do it.
approve. We're not going to approve sending the resident a letter of approval then.
No, and I'll ring her and tell her. But I'll also, because I originally spoke to these people to find out whose trees they were. So I shall go back to them as well and say,
Okay.
you need to deal with it.
Item 9B is to receive and discuss a letter from a resident of Holcott Road regarding accidents at the junction of Skeletal Road and Holcott Road. The letter was circulated. You may have driven past and seen the great gaping hole in the hedge where people have failed to stop. Have you had a chance to chase this up, Sandra? Did you want to speak on this?
I mean, Ian Boys and Phil Donaldson are on top of it. They've given a list of suggestions to Louise Bates, and I visited the site myself at night just to see what the visibility was like, and I can't believe that no one can see. It's the junction, because you know the road that comes out from the landfill, you can see the give way sign and the direction signs from that turning.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I just don't know what more there is to do. I mean, they're going to repaint the junction lines. Great, but if you've gone that far without braking,
It's too late.
it is a bit.
Yeah.
It is a bit late. So I don't know. I mean, I've spoken to Louise about this as well, and she's concerned because in a month's time she's going to have cattle the other side of that fence. And so when I drove past there the other day, I was thinking, and I don't know whether I'm allowed to sort of speak to Louise directly, but if she wants to protect her cattle, there's nothing stopping her putting, whether it's hay bales or some concrete blocks, the other side of that of her hedge, so that if a car hits the hedge, they don't hit the cattle.
They hit concrete
They
blocks
hit
instead.
or they hit hay bales.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. It's her land. She can do what she wants.
Well, she can, yeah, but I'm sure she would rather. One would imagine that human fatality is not preferable to hitting an animal. And if there is a way we can prevent it, for example, putting a give way in 100 yards sign further back.
Well, that's one of the things. So when you come out from landfill, there's that. They can put a sign there.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been very comprehensive in their suggestions, but their budget doesn't start till April. Louise is saying, well, my cattle go in next month. I need it doing now. Well, we all know that the cogs turn very, very slowly. It's not going to happen. But Ian, Phil, and Louise are in. They're speaking to each other about it. Yeah, but I just can't see, as I say, how people are approaching that junction and seeing.
Have these accidents happened in the daytime or have they happened at night?
I don't know. She hasn't said actually.
Because either way, they're not keeping a proper look at it. They happen during the daytime, and if they happen during the night, they're driving outside the range of their headlamps, which you shouldn't do.
That's right.
I mean, you can't go changing the roads for people who don't know how to drive or have forgotten how to drive.
Well, I mean, you can, and that's exactly what happened when the speed limit across the causeway was reduced from 60 to 40, because people were pulling out that car park and just not looking. So they had to be protected, and this is, as far as I'm concerned, the same thing.
But I mean, that is a T junction.
It is.
Everybody beneath Uncle knows that.
Did you want to? No? Okay. Just out of interest, do you know how much it would cost to put an additional sign up?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
So it's not something the parish council would want to contribute to then? No?
As much as I like to help highways, No. This I don't think is our responsibility.
Okay.
Because also that signage which has been damaged is coming out of the insurance of the driver that caused the damage.
Right. The chevrons at the Tjunction or whatever the.
Yeah, there's sort of,
Yeah.
Holcott that way, Brixworth that way. That's coming out of the driver's
Insurance.
insurance. Yeah.
Okay. Mike.
Could we not simply say it's been brought to the attention of the Highways Department
Yes.
and leave it at that?
Yeah. I mean, we've received. Unless anybody else has any comments,
It's not
I think we're
I
happy
would
to just
suggest,
receive that.
if that, they would know this, but I would suggest a rumble strip if they're worried. Not really usually wake people
That's
up.
going to be expensive.
Yeah, they don't do rumble
About 3 or
strip.
4 lines ahead of the junction.
Okay. So we're happy to leave that with highways then. And,
Yeah, I'll just keep you up to date. I can
That'd be great,
I can
thank you.
ask. I can just double check with rumble strips, but I just don't think they happen anymore.
okay. Thank you very much. Item 10A then is to discuss the possibility of allowing Brixworth Juniors Football Club to use the Spartan Road recreation ground for football. Did you want to? You had a comment about that?
Yeah, I just want to know where you're going to park.
Well, to be fair, that was going to be one of my
I live
concerns.
next door to it.
You do, right?
I've seen
Okay.
it all before. It's not good.
No.
I see accidents. I've seen kids run out into the pathway with the cars there, being there because Dad can't be asked to walk. Just literally parks on the side of the road. Little kids come running out. Seen it all before. I didn't even actually come here for that, but I spotted that.
Okay.
I have seen all that before. I live next door to it, so
No, I agree.
unless they're walking down there, it's not a problem in my eyes.
Well, that's it. And the other two football clubs do have significant parking.
You wouldn't have
And-
thought so. The way
and
the
that
cars are
one
at the top of the road.
Doesn't. Does anybody else want to make any comments on this one?
I would agree it's inappropriate.
Okay.
I don't think it's desirable on that area.
Okay. So at the moment, then we're going to say we don't want to make the Stratton Road rec available in that way.
I think we need to make a note though that our biggest concern is the safety of the users of that if we did turn it into a football pitch.
Well, I mean, regardless of the fact that there's no car park there, even parking at the side of the road would be extremely hazardous because you've got the traffic calming, the chicanes.
Yeah.
If I turn out my drive, I can't see that, though,
Mm.
It is just parking. The kids can play it all they want. It's the cars that are just going to line up along that road.
Mm.
Because that's the only issue I've got. I mean, we didn't even want to mark it out with white lines or put some cones out for the under eights. And the only place they could really park is round off of Pipestone. We know the Colt Road goes round.
Yeah.
And it's the short dead end road. That's the only place they can park. If they parked there, I couldn't see a problem. But like Chris said, people are lazy. They'll just park right on the main road. And that's, I could see that being an issue as well.
Yeah.
It was just sometimes we have the problem where there's too much going on at St David's and the pitch is too wet or something, and we'd like the chance to cone out a pitch at the Ashway or at Spartan Road. Well, it's not permanent. It was just an option to use it if need arise. That was really. But we have to, as they say, we have to keep a close check on the parking on the road and give them a specific postcode. That was it. But I do take the point of problems with children in cars.
Okay.
There is no parking at the end of Pipestone closest. I mean, you've got a hammerhead and stuff which serves
That's what
close,
yeah.
to the houses.
Okay. Anybody else? Right. So at the moment we are leaving it as we're not going to allow football to be played.
That's
on
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much. Item 10B is to discuss and approve the request from Brixworth Juniors Football Club for a storage container on St David's recreation ground. This was raised at the December meeting and we've all hopefully had a chance to look at those plans. I did take some photos and stick them in the Dropbox earlier on today, but you've probably not had a chance to look at those. Does anybody want to make any? Did you want to speak about that first, Rob?
No,
Or you,
I've spoken plenty of times about it.
Okay.
Sure knows exactly what's going on up there, really.
Fair enough. Does anybody have any comments then, Stephen?
Yes, I actually prefer the fourth option, where along with the container and the hedge beyond it, just to sort of mask it.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, I mean, I've sort of personally have no objections to that going there. It's going to be well protected, but I just think seeing the back end of the container is not the best thing, so it's squeezing it with some heading. I think is probably the better option.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but that end is the end that leads onto the car park. And I think
You can't walk through there because all the grass cuttings, it's a swamp there at the moment. If you go through there, you will fill your shoes up with dirty green grass cutting water.
yeah.
So it's all really good access to the car park, but you
No, sorry, no. I'm not talking about the access to the car park. I'm saying what you're screening is the view from the car park, as opposed to the view from the playing field. Yeah. Which is what most people would see. But obviously, you want the access
need the access.
from that side, not from the car park side.
If it was a well-maintained area and the view was beautiful, then yeah, I understand. But it's not really easy.
Okay, does anybody else have any comments on this? Oh, sorry, Mike, yeah?
Back onto the car park there, and there's been recent complaints from residents about youngsters kicking footballs against the fence, haven't they? The noise that generates. If the container is predominantly empty, unless it's hedged, kids will naturally use it as a wall, won't they? I just think of the noise of the football on a container.
I need someone to come up with some decent ideas of how we can improve storage of bricks and cubes. Because every time I come here, it's negative. I just got a positive idea.
I'm just saying, if as long as it's
no one
hedged,
makes a decision amongst
it
themselves.
wouldn't be a hollow thing that would.
I understand what you're saying,
But if you've got the hedge planted there, then that end won't be hit by balls, will it? Because you'll have
park side won't, no.
Yeah, because you've got the hedge there. I mean, I can't visualise. I mean, the containers, it's the whole of that end opens up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we can put some sort of buffeting
Spikes.
yeah, dampening, to dampen the sound that if balls are kicked against it, which I think inevitably would. But if we can put some sort of dampening things to just silence the
It's not going to happen, is it really?
what?
If you're concerned about the noise of children playing in a playing field, then it's just not going to
No,
happen.
I'm just thinking of if we do have residents. I've got
Would it
no
be easy
problem with
to
this.
plant another hedge at the front of it so that kids couldn't boot stuff back?
As long as you've got access to, because you
To the
need easy
container.
access to.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we need to shield the front and back to stop people playing.
I'm just
Against
no,
it.
what I'm trying to think of, Rob, is the last thing that you want is, because I haven't got a problem with children playing outside. Of course I haven't. But the last thing that any of us want, including the football clubs, is people complaining that there are children playing football. We get it all of the time with the fence that goes along the playground there. It's constant
It does make a lot
complaints.
of noise, though.
Sorry?
It does make a lot of noise.
It does
Yeah.
make a lot of noise, and we've spent a great deal of time and money trying to get that resolved. So from experience, the last thing we want is for the junior football club to get it in the net from Mrs. Smith. So if we can try and anticipate that problem by finding some way of dampening any noise, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. The last thing we want is complaints, but I think we should go ahead with the storage.
I mean, at the moment you've got the concrete structure there with the timber doors. I don't really see many kids kicking footballs against that.
Okay, I mean, I don't live in
I'm
that
just-
area, so I don't know. But if Mike lives in that area, and you are seeing people,
But it's
Keep it
as I
normal,
say,
I don't
hedge
know.
would prevent the noise. It'd be quite simple.
I can amend the plan to show hedge front and back, to shield it.
Well, there's some big conifers all the way in front of it. So you've got a little way so you can walk in and out, you can get your stuff in and out full stop. They're going to grow in time, aren't they?
So how are you going to open the doors? How are you going to open the doors if you've got a hedge in front of
You
the
put
You
it
also
back
have
from
space,
the...
haven't you?
You put it
So
back
you're
from
encroaching further and further, so you'd end up with a hedge at the back, in line with the concrete, the brick structure. Then you probably have a hedge at the front, in line with the gate to the tennis door, almost.
Yeah,
So it would only make like a 3 metre gap. You can't play football.
No.
Mike, did you have your...
I was just saying we're trying to resolve a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I think we're sort of putting the cart before the horse. I think we need to agree that it should be done and then see what happens. And if nothing happens, then we don't have to do anything about it. If something happens, then I'm sure we'll discuss
If something
how we
happens,
resolve it.
I don't want people complaining or being upset and stuff, especially residents nearby. So any way we can do it afterwards, we can do whatever needs to be afterwards.
Yeah.
It'll be a phase at first, it will happen.
Okay.
People will do it.
Jackie?
I just think if you put a hedge there, you're going to have a space between a hedge and a building where you're going to get groups of young people
sitting doing things.
accommodate, you know, sort of. We already have problems over there with kids. I think putting a hedge there is worse. I think it would make it worse. There's a lot of misuse of
It's a hiding
substances.
place.
There's hiding places, there's fires over there, especially in the summer.
So do we put the storage in and then just see if there are complaints?
That would be my view, right? Yeah.
So one step at a time?
Yeah.
It's not a fixed structure, so if it does cause problems, we just have to lift it and put it somewhere else.
Okay. Anybody else? Evening.
We've got the ceiling steps on the
Okay then, I will propose that we approve the request for a storage container as shown in the plans.
I second it.
Thank you, Jackie.
Just
Yeah, go on.
which one do we want to go for? Which options? There's one without a hedge.
I think they're all
Well-
fairly similar.
I know, yes,
Yeah,
just
one
whether we-
shows the hedge
We've
at the back.
agreed, I think Mike's suggestion and Sandra's was that if we start with just the container and then, and Jackie, you mentioned that as well, in fact,
Yeah.
we just start with the container and then if there are problems with that, then we work to address those problems either by adding a hedge or a hedge and some conifers or removing the container. I think that's the best way forward, just to play it by ear, because it's obvious that the extra storage is needed.
I don't agree.
Okay,
And is this being completely funded by juniors?
the football club, yeah. Okay, all those in favour of the motion then? That's everybody except Kevin. Opposed? And abstentions? So you, there we go. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 11, the media and communication section.
D. Post office.
Sorry, yes, I've done a hefty line through there. To receive a letter from the post office regarding the modernisation of the post office in Spartan Road. Yeah. Has everybody seen the letter?
Yes.
Would anybody like to make a comment on the letter?
No to.
You would?
I would like to comment. The only concern I have, I mean, yeah, whilst I appreciate the post office is going to be open longer, especially the sort of post office council side, having sort of two co-ops open from 6 to 11, are we asking for a bit more trouble than we already have in the co-op? With,
Sorry.
I mean, the way I see it is the co-op part of the shop is going to be open from 9 till 5:30, 6 days a week.
Right.
But the actual shop itself the retail part of it is going to be open from 6 o'clock in the morning through to 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Yep, 11, yeah.
We already have problems with the co-op with sort of attempted burglaries and having the post office effectively open between 6 and 11. Are we adding or potentially adding to a problem, especially early in the morning?
Okay.
It's my only concern.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any comments?
I haven't thought about what you've just said before, but I think it's an important issue because the co-op have shown quite a lax attitude towards security, and this is opening itself up to serious robbery, isn't it?
Because you're going to have a safe, obviously, or safes in the post office.
What else are they going to sell in the shop?
Well, they sell stationery, but it also says that some selected post office services will be available in the shop as well.
At 11 o'clock at night?
I don't know. I don't know what services are selected services.
Well, no, because it says here on the back, post office opening hours, they don't change at all.
No, that's right.
Current and new, that's exactly the same. New opening times at a retail counter offering selected. So, at the moment, there's nothing that you can buy except for maybe envelopes,
And confectionery.
which you can buy in the main shop.
Yeah.
So, what USP have they got to warrant? I don't know. But there's no business plan there, really, is there?
Mike?
Mr. Chairman, when I read this, I saw it as an advice, not as a request for comment.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So would I.
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's a business matter for them.
Well, It is. I mean, it's also a matter of concern for the local community that they.
Yeah.
But as Mike says, I think this is just advice. Perhaps.
That's good. It does say here, if you think that the process has not been properly followed and wish to make a complaint, then please write to us an email.
Yeah.
But we have no. I have no idea whether the process has been followed or not. Just because I don't like the outcome, possibly.
If they haven't.
That's a different question. I think
Indeed.
what you've got to do is
Communicate
you
to
may
them.
well wish to write a letter and say, we are rather concerned about A aspect
Yeah.
or B
They could
aspect.
answer any questions though, so
Well,
it could be raised as a question, what
Yeah.
else are they going to be selling at 11 o'clock at night, or up till 11 o'clock at night?
That's not available in the main shop.
and what steps are being taken
Yeah.
to improve security, bearing in mind the unfortunate record that they had, everything from the highway bloody robbery, haven't they?
Okay. So, do we want to have an agenda item next time to talk about a response,
I think it'd be too
or are we just going to?
they start work early.
People are obviously
I think you've just
quite
put
able
one
to
off.
respond
Yeah.
off their own backs.
Yeah, if anybody, anybody can ask a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some should be asked.
Okay.
Sorry, I haven't seen the letter, but I think people would potentially be interested. Can you just clarify? Is this basically that the post office is going to get a new lick of paint and the opening hours are going to be extended?
I don't.
I think it's a bit more than a lick of paint.
Yeah.
I paraphrase.
And
It
the
will
post,
be-
sorry.
Sorry, I've got the thing in front of me. A newly refurbished branch providing modern open plan environment for customers. It's the same products and services with a selection of on-demand foreign currency, longer opening hours. The selected post office services will also be available at the retail counter during shop opening hours.
But
We're
we
still
don't.
talking
We don't know
about
what
the
they are.
premises over there next
Yeah.
to Troops.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But it doesn't make clear what the selected
No.
post office services will be.
And do they say when they expect work to start?
February, isn't it?
I
It's
think it's going to be open now.
it said your new look post office is scheduled to open at the current
Can we
location
say
in
16?
early February.
Well, hey,
Next
better
month.
get on with it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like next
Yes.
week.
So any objections we may have are obviously decidedly irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, the letter was dated 31st of
So
December.
we'll take this as received then, shall we? We happy with that?
I didn't
Okay.
get it on the 31st of December. It didn't come through.
No, from,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying that it was posted on 31st of December. There's been no meeting or anything in between receiving it up. When you get it, 6th of January or
A
later.
bit later than that, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to the media and communication section, we'll just hop back to 8E, now that Kevin's here, which is to approve the budget for 2016/17. Did you want to talk about that, Stephen?
Yes. This one.
Obviously, we've all received the documentation and had a chance to look through it. So, I mean, unless you've got some specific issues, we'll just see if there are any questions.
Well, I've
prefer.
obviously got no specific issues as sort of
Well,
finance
anything you
group.
felt was worth clarifying at the start, or anything like that?
Well, I suppose really sort of the one thing worth clarifying is really the sort of the points that what you and I have discussed about that we haven't put any money in for possible financing for the police,
Right.
which as a group we thought we should take out of the proposed budget, which was I'll sort of really go quickly through the why. Changing government policy on policing, the pending change in the policing and crime commissioner, who may very well have his own thoughts or her own thoughts on what's going to happen with local policing. Obviously, we've also had the crime report in the last few days, which also mentions people are leaving and not being replaced. And at the current time, it looks like the situation is staying as is.
Yeah, it does specifically mention the premises in Brixworth is not
Exactly.
being closed.
Yes, which I thought was quite encouraging.
Although it doesn't say why, which is not quite so encouraging.
No, that was very, very strange phrasing.
For various reasons,
Yes.
which we're not going to disclose to you.
Yeah.
All we know.
Probably they've got 25 years.
Yeah, they probably can't get out of it.
Can't get out of it.
No, not at all.
Sorry?
It's not at all, is it? Because we know, don't we, that when they said that they couldn't afford Catherine House, the owners of Catherine House said, "Oh, you're going then." Security was going, and so the rent was cut, wasn't it?
I don't know whether
They're getting it for peanuts now.
But they were still talking about closing it, along with the one at
to
Watford
save
Gate,
money,
which they have
There's
closed.
no money to be saved because the rent's peanuts. Because they said they were going to go.
Yeah, but there's all the infrastructure that they've got there as well.
Well, the infrastructure. If we've been in the room there, it's smaller than this, isn't it? That size. It's a question of just regular. Anyway, so relevant. I'll shut up.
There was also an NCALP report from Danny saying that we should be, whilst parish councils are not going to be capped, they should be aware of their expenditure and make sure it's sustainable. I take your point that police is sustainable. We looked at the cost of having, shall we say, solely paid for by Brixworth, could be in excess of £30,000. It's really then, could neighbouring parish councils assist with that? Or were we looking for neighbouring ones? Stratton, Cretan, Guilsborough, and we thought, well actually, they probably haven't got enough to contribute. And lastly, we already pay through our council tax for the police. would residents feel they was being double taxed?
Yes,
But-
they would, because they would be.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly, and they were the reasons that we decided that we would take out the money that was previously sort of allocated
Okay.
to come up with our report and our budget.
Thank you.
Other than that, it all stayed as we discussed back in November.
Righto. Does anybody else have any comments
That was
on the...
£10,000, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can say just because you're going to get a new commissioner, he's going to do a U-turn. We don't know.
But we don't
do
know. But we can't second guess it either.
No. I mean, experience says that a new commissioner or a new minister just carries on the measures that he has inherited because they're not his measures, so therefore he can't take the blame. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, organisations like this, like any other public organisation, is looking to make cuts, isn't it? So
They are.
If I had to bet, I would bet that he would be making cuts, such as along the lines of what the previous commissioner was looking at.
I mean, I know for a fact that stuff that the police were instigating 6 months ago is already being looked at again. And then they changed their mind again. So I don't think anybody really there knows what is happening.
Yeah, I think
There seems to be
from some perspectives, it's perhaps irresponsible to try and budget for an outcome that could take so many different forms.
Absolutely.
You know, we don't know whether it's going to stay the same, whether PCSOs are going to receive increased funding or less funding, or be scrapped altogether regardless of what the parish councils say.
If the £10,000 was also to pay for Catherine House,
Well, it was a contribution towards something. With again, it was sort of that was trying to second guess what could happen.
because I'm just thinking if Catherine House is now literally peppercorn rent, then we could possibly look at reducing that £10,000 to a much smaller number.
Depends on what you're paying it to, personally.
And also with the double tax thing, it'd be quite interesting to have an opinion poll on that. If your tax, the precept or whatever, meant that you were paying an extra £2 a year per family, but that money went towards the PCSO, would you mind, yes or no?
But if you were paying wholly for the PCSO, you wouldn't be paying £5,000 or £10,000. You'd be paying
20 or 30.
20 or 30,000.
Just thoughts.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments? So then, would anybody like to propose that we accept the budget as we've seen it? Mike? Okay, thank you. Is there a second? Jackie? Thank you very much. All those in favour then of accepting and approving the budget? That's everybody except Sandra. And opposals? Objections rather? Abstentions?
No, I'm going to object actually.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I am.
Sandra's opposed. Item F is to approve the precept. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make on the precept, given that we've just approved the budget?
We
No?
need to know what the precept is for.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We know what the precept is for, that budget, you have to tell us.
What's it?
What's it for?
You mean what does the parish council spend it on?
The precept is the money we get from Daventry.
Right, okay. That's what
Towards-
Which
towards
Daventry
working
get from taxpayers in the parish?
So you've got a council tax and your precept is added onto our council tax, is it? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's included within the overall
Included.
council.
Is it? Yeah, it's included in Daventry's.
Smallest amount, really.
So if
Yeah.
you get Northamptonshire County Council, Lease,
So you don't ask for the precept, they can tell you what it is.
No,
No.
we tell them what we want.
So they can tell us what the percentage increase is, but they may not want to. They may just want to vote without telling us.
it's a right.
Okay, are there any other comments? Would anybody like to propose approval of the precept?
Which stands at 123,835.
Yeah.
If anybody would. Sorry.
Well, it's on the
123,835.
What's the percentage? Increase, decrease?
Percentage increase.
is it 16?
It's 14.6%.
It's in this document from 14.63% increase.
An increase of less than 16 pence per household per week.
Yes, that's going to be, so 16 pence per household per week. So 16 pence times 52. Okay. I can't remember what work out.
Oh,
How much?
It's £8.
£8 per household. It's, people equate to that rather than percent, because if you look at the flipping that 14.6% is a large amount of money, but actually it's equivalent to £8 a year per household.
£8.32.
£8.32 per household per year.
Increase.
Increase.
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Are there any other comments then? So, would anybody like to make a proposal on this? Anybody at all? Stephen?
I'll propose that we accept the precept.
Okay, thank you. You're seconded, David. Thank you. All those in favour then of accepting the precept? That's everybody. Thank you very much. Okay, right. Item 11 then is partly to receive the minutes from the meeting held on the 9th of November, which hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at. Does anybody have any comments on those? No? So we'll take those as received then.
Oh,
So yes?
we did discuss putting an article in about grants, didn't we?
This is
And it wasn't contained.
this is just on the
This is
minutes.
November minutes.
Oh, sorry.
The minutes that were signed off at the last media meeting.
Sorry.
Okay. Item B is to receive an update from the Media and Communication Committee. Basically, we've come up with some articles. There's not very many. We're thinking we're going to reduce our entry in the bulletin to just 2 pages this time.
that's fine.
Hopefully, depending on how many photos we get and everything else. We've got planning an article about the grants. Was it?
Finance.
Oh yes, the finance report as well.
Don't think there's anything. Is there?
That's-
Sorry.
I thought he was going to forget that bit.
Yeah.
Did we decide on anything for recreation?
No.
Chairman's.
On the chairman's
Chair-
So
chat?
the chairman's bit always goes in. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Have we got space to make a comment about grass cutting?
Yeah, I think we can insert that somewhere. I'll make a note.
Is that okay?
So back to 4 pages then.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
If it flips us to 4 pages, we can leave the grass cutting until...
I don't think the grass cutting will fit to fall from 2.
No, it's good.
No,
It's going to be
we can't do 3, can we? Or can we do 3?
You can do 3
We
for
could
all
do
I care.
3.
for all I care.
Certainly.
Right.
I'll just work with what I'm given.
Okay, so those articles are all still being written, and they'll be approved at a Media and Communications Committee meeting on the 10th of February.
Do you want a deadline when we get them in? Some people.
Oh, yeah, well, we need them in by the beginning of February, really, so they can all be
Don't press it then.
so they can all be placed on a page, and then hopefully we'll be approving them on the 10th of February,
That's like
and then circulating them amongst the council and getting them off to the bulletin.
So do we...
If there is a bit of a question over just how many pages you're going to send me, that is something I would like to know about rather sooner than the 10th, because I'm going to start filling or yanking out extra pages at that stage. I'm going to struggle.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we let you know as soon as we've seen the amount of copy we've got,
Yeah,
and we'll hopefully get an idea then.
that's fine. I mean, basically, if there is a chance you can let me know sort of during the course of maybe next week how many pages I should set aside. Is that going to be feasible?
Okay, well, the deadline for articles then is next week. Is that,
What date shall we set?
Friday.
The 2nd?
sorry?
No.
Friday.
Shall we say the 2nd, which is the week today?
The 2nd of February for all articles. Is that okay with everybody? Everybody who's writing articles?
Yeah, I've written mine.
Okay. Haven't seen it.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Okay.
You didn't come
Mine.
to me.
Yeah, so everything should come to Emma.
So, right, okay, I'll send an email out tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Okay. Right, item 12 is the Parish Council surgery update. Is that,
That was
are you
me.
doing that, Jackie?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's me, Kevin. It was very quiet because there was no dancing. It was very quiet. Afternoon. Should have been Steve. That was actually Kevin. They swapped places, I think, didn't you, because of the finance meeting.
Jackie didn't notice for the first time.
Wasn't until I was offered a bacon sandwich I thought, oh, it must be Kevin. Sorry. But no, it's very quiet. Lots of visits from parish councillors, but Paula came and had a chat to us, but that was about it. It wasn't anything.
So nothing to report, nothing in your book?
Nothing in the book. And we sat in the foyer and tried to drag people in.
Wasn't happening.
It's just a very quiet day.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. The next surgery will be on the 6th of February. Can we get some volunteers to make an appearance on Saturday the 6th of February? Nobody?
I can't do it. I can't
Nobody
do
do it.
Saturdays because of all my bits of the children, so I just can't do it.
Okay.
I can do it.
Thanks, Jackie. I'll do it as well.
Okay.
That's going to make me very unpopular. Because I'm on stage in the afternoon. Hope everybody's got their tickets to see Puss in Boots.
Oh no, we haven't.
Item 13 is to agree to investigate hosting an open day for village organisations. This was suggested, I can't remember who suggested it, last year when we were talking about the annual parish meeting, which was just to approach various local organisations and suggest that we hold an open day either upstairs or in the village hall or somewhere, and just give everybody the chance to come along and say this is what we're doing in the village for youth or adults or whoever it's for.
Is there another event happening in the village during the summer that maybe the church is putting on? I'm just wondering whether we can piggyback someone else rather than, if there's already something happening, we duplicate it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I would suggest that the first step on this line is to form a working group of people
Okay.
interested in the project, and then they can perhaps investigate whether there is something else going on that we could piggyback
Okay.
on. Does anybody have any comments on this? Suggestions? No?
No. So we should just put a working group together. We used to have
Is there any interest in? Does anybody want to form a working group? Join a working group? No.
Not mine.
Okay. I think we'll shelve that one then this time, due to lack of interest.
Lack of
That's what we're
time.
going to.
Well, yeah, lack
Unless
of.
somebody was going to approach the church, see if we'd come round and...
I mean, we could do an informal investigation, so, there's nothing wrong with asking the church or whoever, if they're doing an event, can we
Well,
come along?
I think something like this is going to, unless it's just we're turning up to somebody else's event, which we can all do anyway.
Yeah.
Actual organisation is going to take somebody's time and dedication, or the time and dedication of some people. And if people haven't got the time to spare, then better that we know now, I think, rather than struggle down the line.
Yeah.
So, if everybody's happy, we'll shelve that this year.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Item 14 is to create a working group to investigate acquisition options for the former Shore Start building. This is because, as I understand it, all the groups that would be allowed to rent the building from the county council, i.e. those catering for children aged 0 to 5, have said they're not interested. They don't think it's viable, or both. I think you've spoken to some people on that, haven't you, mate? You spoke to the Centre Preschool.
I've spoken to a number of groups. I'm sure a lot of people have. Yeah.
So, and there's no interest.
Oh, there is interest, but there isn't sufficient interest to fulfil the requirement for daily bookings to make it financially viable. You'd have to have something approaching 50% take-up on lettings, and you'd have to charge the going rate. So you certainly need 50%. Now, I've spoken to Emma Hine, and I suppose a lot of you have as well, the preschool supervisor, and they're interested in it for, say, 2 afternoons a week. Mornings aren't possible because of their activities at the moment, so they were thinking of 2 afternoons a week. But I've also spoken to the group that used to be the WI, the Brixworth Bells, and U3A. I've spoken to Judy Smith there. U3A are using a whole variety of venues for their activities, but are generally happy with what they've got. And certain people see it as a threat to the Heritage Centre because it's a similar sort of size of venue. So I don't think there's enough viability in renting it out to get enough bookings. We would probably get enough evening bookings, but in totality, I haven't come across enough people that are prepared to take on enough bookings. And I've spoken to 5 different groups now.
Okay. And obviously, when you've got the Brixworth Centre right next door, that, as I understand it, the Centre Management Committee pays a peppercorn rent for, whereas the Shore Start Centre was it 6,000-7,000 that they wanted? And a similar amount in running costs as well. So it does seem that if we want to have any say in what the council do with it, we should at least investigate acquiring it ourselves, which we may be able to do by raising grant money. Both Peter's expressed an interest in joining the working group to investigate this, and my father has also expressed an interest in joining the working group to investigate the future of the building. I don't know if anybody here is interested in joining a working group. No. Okay. But are we happy to create this working group and let them see where they can take it?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think it's in the village's interest to try and maintain the use of that building. Well, I know, but they can sell for 200,000.
What, sell it for?
Yeah.
I think they want 250,000.
50,000.
Yeah. So, which, on the face of it, given its location and lack of parking, seems like a very high figure.
There's a deadline, isn't there, for this, for any offers or anything to get back to Northampton?
Yes.
Which I think is fairly soon.
Middle of February.
Yeah.
Is it the middle of
Something
February? Is
that
it?
I've got in my head.
It was 8 weeks from that meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That gives you 2 weeks, that working group, to come up with something, to get a proposal done and sent back to Northampton.
So, once they had an idea, we would have to have an extraordinary meeting to approve whatever they recommended.
Can I just ask, what's the capacity of the local preschool at the moment? As far as I'm aware, it's full every day and every night.
Well, there's
Aren't there more houses being built up the road?
yeah.
There's going to be more kids.
I don't know whether there are waiting lists, but you've got Little Acorns in the village hall, and the centre preschool. Yeah.
There's a lot of places for kids to go in the village. I'm not sure what else you could use the building for, really. It'd be a shame to let it get into private hands. It's in council hands.
Well, I think the situation is unless it goes for use of children between 0 to 5,
0 to 5, yeah.
and they sell it, then they have to give a proportion of money back to the government on what they've funded.
I see.
And they've been told they're saying it's worth 150,000 because they've been advised it's worth 150,000. Other people may give different advice, I suspect.
Minimum sum.
That may just be what they want.
They want offers over.
So, how do we feel about the theory of it then? The creation of a group to investigate it.
I think the theory is good.
Yeah, but as Kevin's pointed out, you haven't got long.
Got
No.
2 weeks.
But bearing in mind they sat on this for about a year, saying, "Oh no, we are working on it." Just because they've said we've got 8 weeks, I don't think it would be realistic to imagine that they're going to get it sold once that deadline's up, and they're suddenly going to spring into action. That would be my feeling.
You've got to plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Oh yeah.
I'll just get it done.
What was this thing about? I can't remember what it's called now. So if you register an interest or
Yeah, I was
whatever.
just going to mention that because I'm having a
The
bit
civic
of a
amenities.
problem with
We've put that on.
Daventry too.
We've put that on.
We filled in the forms, haven't we? And they've sent them back and said they want some more information. And I've looked at it and I don't know what else I could put
Yeah,
on
there's
there.
nothing else. We just don't know what to say. I mean, I've explained to him the whole situation and building. Although he did originally think it was the Brixworth Centre as well. He thought it was the whole plot.
I was quite
And
clear on
he said
that,
it was
that
boarded
it's-
up, didn't he? He said it was boarded up because he looked at it on Google
Yeah,
Maps.
but
Oh, well, there you are.
I mean, all he wanted to know is that he said, "Is it being used now?" And I said, "Well, it's not being used now purely because of the situation that it's in." And he said, "But it looks like it hasn't been used for years." And I said, "Well, it has. So it's only just stopped being used."
So we
About
need to-
18.
So if we take some
But he-
photographs, send them more recent photographs that shows.
Well, no, he's not bothered about that. He wants more. He wants to know why we're so desperate for it not to be just sold off. At the moment, we haven't got enough information in there.
But actually, when you look at the information about completing that process, what they asked for is what we've given them.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah,
they've just come up with this idea that they want more information, but there isn't any more information.
So how are you going to respond to that then?
I don't know, I've been thinking about it.
Well, I know, I've been thinking
Yeah.
as well, and I don't know what to say.
Did you say such as what? Because we can't see.
Well, he wants more meat on the bones. That's what his term likes to mean.
It's not so helpful, is it?
I know.
Yeah, because there isn't any more. But I could work out.
You see, I don't know because I think it goes to the county council to get approved. So I'm just wondering whether there's a reason why
they'll delay it because it's
why
it's
they're
written.
they need all this information because the county council wants it, and they obviously don't want this.
No, because they'll have to wait for 6 months.
Yeah.
Once this goes through, they have to wait for 6 months.
So I'm just
So,
wondering whether there's.
I think it's a delaying tactic on their part.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've got until 29th this month. Tomorrow. But I've sent him the map again. I've explained the map. I've explained why it's not being used because of the situation that it's in. It's sort of in limbo at the minute. And obviously he's got the form.
Yes.
I don't know what else to say.
Okay. So we've got Peter Saxton and Dennis on this working group. Is it Peter Saxton that you said?
Yeah. Yes. Those are the people who've volunteered. No.
Oh, sorry, just
Those those two have volunteered so far.
But you would have thought that Sue.
Well, Peter was saying he hasn't heard anything further from Sue Varallo since the meeting with James Ellis. Yeah.
I think it might be churlish not to invite Sue.
But he has several times been in contact with her with no response.
That she has about that building. If you're going to set up a working party, it would be appropriate to invite her to go to a meeting, I think.
Yeah, but she's not responded. He has
Still got to invite.
Well,
I know, but
I think the members. Yeah, I think if we have those two as members of the working group, I would imagine that they will speak to anybody that they think might be interested, might be able to, offer advice or insights. So.
Well, anyone that turns up to that meeting on that day, those are the people that are obvious to contact.
Yeah.
And then take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So Peter can be our representative, so to speak, on this working group, and then whoever from other organisations, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it should be. If it's a parish council working group, then I think we need to define the membership and not just say, help yourselves, come along. But if we have those two people as part of the working group, they can liaise with who they see fit to get all the information that they can, I think.
Okay. So how are we ending this item?
Well, we need a proposal to form a working group then. If everybody's happy with that. If nobody's got any other comments, I propose that we form a working group to investigate the acquisition options for the former Shore Star building, and the membership, or the initial membership, shall we say, will be Peter Saxton and Dennis Coles, who have expressed an interest in joining the working group but aren't here to speak this evening.
Okay.
Thank you, Stephen. All those in favour of the motion? That's everybody. Item 15 is to receive an email from Northamptonshire County Council regarding the public consultation period for Northamptonshire Joint Health and Wellbeing Board strategy, which was emailed on the 20th and is in the Dropbox, I think. Are we just receiving that? Excellent. So are we do need to respond, don't we? Do we respond as individuals or as a parish council?
The reason you get them, you can either respond as a body. If But it means that you've all got to have had a look at it, come back with your comments, and we sit.
And we've all got to agree the comments.
And you've all got to agree.
So basically, we all receive it, and everybody can feel free
Go
to respond.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
Any other comments? Okay, thank you. Item 16 is to receive an email from Northamptonshire County Council Transport Planning Team regarding the draft Northamptonshire Parking Standards consultation. Same again. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Any comments? No, thank you. Item 17 is to receive email from Principal Elections Officer DDC regarding Police and Crime Commissioner District and Parish Elections 2016, which was circulated and is also in the Dropbox. Everybody happy with that? Any comments? No? Okay. Item 18 is to receive a letter of thanks from the Royal British Legion for the donation towards the Poppy Appeal. This was circulated a few days ago and is also in the Dropbox. Does anybody have any comments on the letter from Mr. King? Sorry?
Just noted.
Okay. And there is a small correspondence file, well, not for discussion. The next meetings will be planning on Monday, which is the 1st of February, and then planning again on the 22nd of February, and then the next full council meeting is the 23rd. I've not been notified of any urgent matters. You? No?
I'm not trying to chat at the end though, if you guys, if possible.
Oh.
Just for 5 minutes.
Okay, just an informal, not part of the meeting chat.
Yes, just
Okay.
gauge interest in what we can do.
Thank you all very much for coming then.